by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk. Come on, you rebels! You're listening to Rebels Radio, the online home of Slough Town match commentaries, brought to you by the worldwide internet football community, MyFootballClub.co.uk.
Mick, I think we might have had a bit of a faux pas here. I think we may only now have just been live. I think we were on Rebels Radio before, and this might be terrible. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are broadcasting. Apologies for any confusion that we may have given. We have played 7 minutes at Slough Town versus St Ives. And I'll quickly take you through the teams. You haven't missed anything at all as yet. There's been no clear chances or anything like that. There's been a few changes in the Slough half. Beautiful day here in Slough, and at the moment it is the ball is in the Slough half with St Ives just slightly on the attack here. The team news is that Somerville in goal for Slough Town, Sean Fraser, number 2. Number 3, Ryan Parsons. Number 4, Dave Woozy. Number 5, welcome to Dan Simpton from Met Police, just joined us for a couple of games. 6, Lee Rumbold. 7, Johnny Dyer. 8, George Short. 9, Ed Smith. 10, Jake Parsons. And 11, Warren Harris. And on the bench, number 12, Guy Hollis. 14, Jamie McClurg. 15, Seb Costello. 16, Scott Harris. And 18, Adam Cornell. And I'll take you through the St Ives team in a moment as the ball's bobbling around just inside midfield. Again, the game hasn't really settled down. It's quite a hard, dry pitch out here. St Ives, dressed all in red, shooting left to right, are getting their foot on the ball a little bit now. They're just down on the right-hand corner with Woos and Jake Parsons in attendance. Ball cut inside, and there's plenty of space on the edge of the box as the ball's chipped in towards Somerville, and Somerville gathers that quite comfortably and cleanly, and will look to launch it early up towards Johnny Dyer and Ed Smith playing up front. The team for St Ives, in goal, number 1, Nick Benyon. Number 2, Mitch Hancock. Number 3, Ashley White. Number 4, Dan Newman. Number 5, Will Fordham. Number 6, Jordan Lambert. Number 7, Jason King. Number 8, Lee Ellison. Number 9, Avi Vieira. Number 10, Matty Waters. And number 11, Matt Bannister. And on the bench, number 12, David Cobb. 14, Tom Meachin. 15, Warren Everdell. And 16, Dan Rusalo. And the referee is Mr. Kieran Bailey, and assisted by Craig Balls and Simon Manor. Apologies, we had a little bit of a mix-up there.
What's this we?
Yeah, he'll always see.
I had nothing to do with that.
Yes, he had nothing to do with that, as ever. It was my fault, ladies and gentlemen. As Sean Fraser on the right-hand edge of the box in the attacking St Ives half, just had his cross blocked, and he's still pursuing the ball. He's in the area. He's headed it in towards the goal. Comes back to Parsons, who volleys it, but it's blocked by a defender. Comes out edge of the box. Rumbold's fighting for it. Again, another shot blocked as the Rebels press for an opening goal. Ryan Parsons chips the ball in long towards the far right. Harris is underneath it and heads it back across, but a goal kick is given, and that was the first glimpses of chances in this match, Mick.
That was a good bit of pressure, very good bit of pressure. And that was an excellent block, actually, because that was on its way in. It was a very, very hard shot. This new guy, Simtin, was looking very, very strong at the back. We've had quite a few clearances come from him. He's only been with them a couple of days, so he's not had much training. And
he didn't train with them Thursday.
So he's not even
trained.
trained.
He's met the boys.
And he's doing rather well.
He just won a towering header in the air there from the clearance from the St Ives keeper, Bellion. And he seems to have settled in very early, showing his class. He's a real athlete, a big guy, physical, and he's settled in very well for, obviously, the absence of Adam Fowler.
I think, as I said when we were broadcasting the jingle, he's got the build of Usain Bolt, and hopefully he's a better footballer than Usain, but hopefully he's got his pace. But he's certainly taller than Dave Worsley, to be honest. Let's see how he goes.
Slough have been awarded a free kick 10 yards outside the St Ives box on the right-hand edge. As Johnny Dyer was upended, he's still sat on his bottom. I don't think he's hurt. He's just protesting. It's an absolute gorgeous day here. Slough shooting from right to left in this first half. We have played 11 minutes, and Jake Parsons is stood over the ball. Dave Woosley just making his way forward, as is the new boy Simtin, and they're all congregating on the left-hand edge of the 18-yard box with the red St Ives players just jostling around them. There's plenty of movement in there, plenty for the referee, Mr Bailey, to keep his eye on in there, as they're just making sure the wall is back. So Parsons stood over it right-footed. Going to be a slight outswinger, and looking, everyone's kind of covering their eyes, looking into the sun, which is opposite us. So we'll just wait for this free kick to come in. A real first set-piece opportunity for Slough to make an impression. In from Parsons, keeper comes, flaps at the ball, but it goes harmlessly out. It's now in the right back position, and St Ives will have the opportunity to clear long. It was a good delivery there from Parsons. Played up well and flicked on well, and St Ives now have the opportunity to break if they can switch the ball, but fortunately King managed to King, who was looking for a crossfield ball, managed to get blocked off, and the balls ended up harmlessly in Somerville's hands. So Somerville dressed all in blue, very jazzy bright boots, which Mick doesn't like. Cleared long, and now it's a long high ball, which everyone's got their eyes under, which Somerville will hopefully come and clout. The ball is bouncing an awful lot out there, Mick. The ground's hard, isn't it?
Yes, it is very, very hard, but and a little bit bobbly. I suppose you've got two teams playing on it, so you can't expect much else. It is in good condition, though.
Yeah, and considering the amount of games that we've had on, run bold as ever, doing well early in the game to pick up the ball in midfield, but harmlessly through now, and St Ives have the opportunity to clear, but Ed Smith and Johnny Dyer both working tirelessly hard to close that ball down, but a long ball played through, and neither team's really got the ball down and started to play yet.
No, it has been a little bit scrappy from both teams. They're both sounding each other out. I mean, neither side wants to lose, especially Slough, and I think both sides are frightened of making a mistake at the moment, but it will settle down.
Yes, Slough are still maintaining their position of third in the league, but 3 points vital today, because to maintain that play of place, they've lost, as the manager would say, one of their lives, and they can't really afford to lose any more, or certainly lose a few more. There's a little bit of holding down there going on just in front of us. Johnny Dyer protesting, so there's a free kick to Slough immediately in front of us, which the two Parsons both step over, both playing on the left-hand side just to confuse us. Only one Harris on the pitch as yet, though, Mick, so we're quite fortunate in that respect. Whether we get two brothers on at the same time, I'm not sure how many times that happens for Slough, but it's happened a couple of times this season.
We probably will. That was Somerville with a free kick in front of us.
And plenty of contact here. It's a physical game. No let up in the intensity here. Both teams obviously want this ball. With a ball through to Parsons, finds Smith on the edge of the box. He turns well, and the ball ricochets out to the left, and it will allow the right back from St Ives to clear it for a throw on. So Slough again have an opportunity, another ball out the ground. We're all struggling to look into the sun a little bit here, but it's an absolute cracker of a day. A little bit of a breeze blowing through that's into Slough's faces, that's a bit gusty at the moment, but it might affect the ball in the air a little bit, as Parsons takes his throw on towards Smith, flicked out, and George Short picks the ball up on the edge of the box, and
that's on the M40.
Almost in the services with that. It just bounced up, lovely height for a volley, but he was leaning back slightly and he drove it high and wide and over the bar, so it'll be a goal kick to Benyon to take, dressed in a luminescent green in that far end, just down in front of the, I would say, 100 or so Slough fans, perhaps less than that. What would you say, Mick?
About 80.
80.
70 or 80.
Mick's counted. All in front of the Slough Town flags and memorabilia that they've got down there. They're all almost trying to hope that they can suck the ball into that net. As the ball's net, Fraser's awarded a free kick for a challenge on the far right inside our own half, which Somerville will take early and will look to get some tempo going in. The tempo's good, but there's just doesn't seem to be coming off quite yet as for Slough, does it, Mick?
There's no pattern from either side, really. That was a long kick from Somerville, and nobody went for it. It's just rolled harmlessly out to play on the far side for a goal kick.
As ever, we'd like contact from you. If you feel like contacting us, well, Mick's not very technical, but you can contact me at MyFC Rebels Radio. All day tweets. We're trying to hope that they'll come through in a timely fashion, and so we'll be able to read them. Alternatively, if you're on the MyFC chat room, please let us know. I've seen the Flying Dutchman's tweet, which obviously had told us that, but it didn't come through. It's only just come through, I'm afraid. So, but we were aware that, well, we did notice, unfortunately, that we were playing the intro rather than listening to our dulcet tones. You missed some of the most amazing things. I can't believe some of the secrets that Mick let out during that time.
Never to be repeated.
I know. Let's just hope those other fans listening don't know what's going on. As the ball breaks out for St Ives, they've got an opportunity. The ball's just getting caught up under the forwards Matt Waters' feet, and well pressed by Johnny Dyer, who's won a free kick. Won a throw-in and taken quickly. And Ryan Parsons wants the ball off his brother, gets it back, left-hand edge of the box, drives a low cross in, it bounces awkwardly in front, and the defender did well to get something behind it. And now, again, an agricultural clearance. It seems like that, and Simtim does very well to head the ball clear, and Fraser's now got it on halfway for Slough. Just started to press a little bit more, playing football, rumbled in midfield with a little bit of time, turns well to get away from a player, and passes the ball out to Fraser again. Fraser now, a little bit of space in front of him. Inside to Ed Smith, could be dangerous. Edge of the box, ball just gets taken off him, but he's still not given up, he's still fired. Blocked off physically, and Ed Smith ends up lying on the ground, but need to work back now as St Ives bring a player forward. And once again, the ball's out on the right with Matty Walters, small, slight figure, cutting inside Dave Woozy, having a little bit of run, a little bit of space, left foot shot, bobbles nicely in front of Somerville, does well to get something behind it, and pounces on it well. So that was, I thought, quite good from Somerville there, really. That
was a good save. They let Waters run free a little bit there, which somebody needed to pick him up. They'd let him run on this side as well, and he cut inside.
Sorry, this side being which side? The near side, Mick?
The near side.
Okay, good.
Our near side. Sorry.
Our near side. No, that's fine. Ball breaking free. Ryan Parsons, as ever, a good outlet here. In space on the left with Jake Parsons upfield. He takes it nicely on his right foot. Defender close by him, but cuts inside. Does a couple of step overs and tricks. Defender gets her foot in, and it looks to be a throw-in in the far left-hand corner to the Parson brothers. Which one of them has taken it? It looks like Ryan's going to have a go, take a long throw-in as Jake's just making his way back onto the pitch. And needs a bit of movement, throws it to his brother, gets it back. He's getting closed down. There's a stalemate in that far left-hand corner. The ball's gone out of play, and it's a St Ives throwback there. But that was a decent defending. I mean, St Ives are certainly no mugs here, are they, Mick?
2-on-2 there. They certainly didn't let those two get away, the Parson brothers. It's still bitty. We need someone. It needs a goal, and hopefully from somebody in a yellow shirt.
No. And interestingly, this isn't the first time that St Ives have visited Holloway's Park this season, obviously, because they visited to play against our landlords, and they were successful here on that day. They came here and won 2-0 against Beaconsfield, which is a good result by most people's standards. And so they probably have nice memories of this place, having not been in this league before, coming here and then done that. A long ball forward by George Short, and the keeper's come out of his box to head it back into the midfield. So very good keeping there, very alert and awake at that time. And the ball's now launched forward, long ball. Simtin underneath it. Again, a good header clear. But St Ives now on the front foot, edge of the box. A sliced clearance, a sliced effort there, I would say, by the St Ives player. And now it's being battled with on the far right corner between the two right-sided players from Slough over there, with Harris and Fraser just battling in. Opportunity to cross the ball in though for St Ives, and a great header again by Simtin. Really made his mark early on here, Mick.
Been some bit of head tennis there. He's cleared it, but there was no Slough player to pick it up, unfortunately. We are under a little bit of pressure, but it's gone out for a throw into Slough opposite us, 15 yards inside the Slough half.
How would you say the new boy settled in there, Mick? He seems to have started naturally and be a really good asset.
I think he's done well. To say he's not trained with them and he's just met them probably today, he's done very, very well.
And he's once again under the ball here. Good headed clearance there. But again, falling to a St Ives player as Vieira on the far side, ball at his feet, short nearby, Fraser closing him down. Has a look up, passes a simple ball off sideways to Captain Ellison. Ellison out right to their right back, Hancock, just in front of me. Hancock back inside, and there's now a ball through from Newman. Newman cut out well by Fraser. Ball at Warren Harris's feet. Rumbold looking forward, attacking, options to his left, and he picks out a great pass to Jake Parsons. Jake Parsons on the edge of the box, ball just bobbles and gets away with him, giving Newman a chance to come back at him and just take the ball off him, and now it's back with the keeper to be cleared, and he slips as he cleared it. Rumbold picks it up early, still again a touch for Jake, and Jake's looking like he's hurt himself. Jake, we've got concerns now. We need to put the ball out, as it looks like Jake Parsons is lying in a heat. He went for a high bobbling ball there, and there was no one around him, so there wasn't any physical contact, and he's now prostrate, lying backwards on the pitch, midway inside the St Ives half. And on the basis that he had a knee op and he's had some knee injuries, let's just hope he hasn't done anything bad. He's not normally the sort to make a meal or a deal of something, so I'm just a bit concerned as Super Kev comes on. I don't think Kev's realised quite how warm it is. He's wearing quite a thick jacket there. This would just give the opportunity for Slough to have a little bit of a conflab. There's players going over to get a drink on this warm day here in Beaconsfield to just start having a chat with their different players. And once again, Simpton just having the opportunity to introduce himself to Somerville. Say, yeah, I'm that guy in front of you.
He's rolled over onto his front now, and the trainer's just said wait to the bench to bring anybody on. So he's assessing the damage. It's his. Do
you think it's his hamstring potentially? I think it probably is by the way that he's moving.
Leg.
Yeah, I think it may well be his hamstring because he's lying on his front. He's doing exercises to try and pull he's flat face down on the turf, and he's looking to just pull his leg back up. So Super Kev's put a bit of pressure on him, and he's slowly and gingerly getting to his feet. And at the moment, there's no signs of what it is, but he's going to be brought off to the near side. And
no, he's okay.
Kev's just saying, give it 1 minute. So we're just going to see. So temporarily, Slough are going to be down to 10 players. He gets a nice hand as he comes off. Loved by fans one and all for his good attitude, and he's a really nice guy off the pitch as well. You've always got to say with Parsos. But we have played biscuit o'clock. No, we've played We're halfway through the first half, and it remains Slough 0, St Ives Town 0. No real clear-cut chances yet. Both teams feeling each other out. Bit of a bitty game, not helped by the bobbly pitch. But St Ives are now on the ball in the Slough half. A long way out, one of their defenders tries a very speculative effort, which goes well wide of the goal, and it'll be a goal kick to Somerville. There's some other big games going on today as well, Mick. There's rugby versus Dunstable is one particularly to watch, because if Slough win and Dunstable lose today, they could cut that lead in second to only 3 points. So we'll have to see how that goes. Royston already winning 1-0 up at Northwood, and Beaconsfield 1-0 up at Aylesbury. So some early goals in some of the other games, and Daventry also up at North Greenford 1-0, which I think was always to be suspected today.
Yes, it was.
North Greenford struggling a little bit of late. The ball's down in the right back position for St Ives, back to the goalkeeper, bobbling around and clears, good solid clearance, but I think that's yet another ball out of the ground. I think we need to really hope that there's plenty of balls going today, Mick, don't you think?
It was a solid clearance, but it was pretty dreadful because it went out not far off horizontally to where he was. So it went miles out the ground. And it looks like we're getting Jake back.
Yeah, I think Jake's just going to come on and probably give it a little go for a few minutes as the pass. The throw's taken short to Parsons, but it's now running out harmlessly back towards the goalkeeper. Yes, we played 24 minutes of the first half. And a beautiful day here in this Cala League Division 1 Central match between Slough, who are in their amber shirts, navy shorts and navy socks, kicking from right to left. And they're facing Egham, who are 12th in the division. Could go 10th with a win.
St Ives, by the way.
Sorry, St Ives. Did I say Egham again?
Yeah, again, yeah.
I've just got Egham on the brain. Sorry, they're still playing St Ives. You are listening to the right game. As it looked like Ed Smith got bundled to the ball.
Advantage.
But the referee, no, I think he just signalled crossing there, Mick, as if it was just like that they were both crossing one another. So.
He bundled him over.
Yeah,
even from that distance, he bundled him over.
And as an ex-referee, you'd notice these things. Even if you do go to Specsavers. And the ball, once again, another free kick. It looks like it's happened off the ball slightly, that Fraser trying to play the 1-2 with Harris, and he's now crumbled in a heap, and it just so happens that he's almost bang in line with where Kev the physio has had got to walking around the edge of the pitch. So it's on the far right hand side. I would say a good turnout here. Would you say perhaps again the kind of normal average, maybe 250, maybe slightly more? I would perhaps say 280 potentially today here.
Yes, it could well be.
Because St Ives have brought a fair few, and I think there's a few neutrals here, and the sun and the weather has definitely brought it out. Because there's quite a nice spacing of people on the far side as well, up both sides of the dugouts. As you're not missing anything from a play perspective, because we're just waiting for Fraser to be treated on the far side. Kev's just doing it, and it's a free kick to Slough, a few yards in from the far touchline and midway in the St Ives half.
I think the defender was protesting there about the free kick, and the referee told him in no uncertain terms to move back. He didn't think it was a free kick, but it certainly looked like it.
And Fraser, as you have to do now, has stepped off the pitch, and it looks like it's something to do with his shoulder or his arm, judging by the funny signals that Kev's giving him and exercises to do, as Harris stands over the ball on the far right hand side, looking to deliver the ball in. Low cross in, bouncing around in there. Kick clear, but Harris again goes in, has another opportunity, still out on the right, cuts inside, little pass through to Ed Smith. Ed Smith, right hand edge of the box, passes out right to Jake Parsons, and closed down, and it will now be a corner to Slough Town. I believe that may be their first corner, which Warren Harris is taken on the far right hand side, just as Jake Parsons, still not 100% on the right hand side, is just hobbling around slightly, and it looks like we're going to have an early change here. I think Jake Parsons is not fit, so it's going to be an early change, and I think Costello's going to be coming on for Jake Parsons, having played 26 minutes of the first half. So
yeah, he's limping badly.
So yes, Parsons off. So this will be an injury concern for the Slough management team. But Parsons has been replaced, and the youngster, it looks like Scott Harris is coming on. Just to add, well, one set of brothers off, another set of brothers on. So we've now got two Harrises, it looks like, on the pitch. It'll be interesting to see how they readjust here, with theoretically a left midfield player being replaced by a centre forward. So we'll have to see where Scott Harris ends up playing. So yes, we have Jake Parsons off and Scott Harris on. So we now have only Ryan Parsons on the pitch. Warren Harris with the corner, which comes in now, and one brilliantly, I would say, and a fantastic save from the powerful header. And it looked, I think, like short with that header. Did it look like short?
I think it was. I noticed as they were waiting for the corner, Dave Woosley, and he was coaching Simpton on the corner routine, and Simpton didn't quite get his head to the ball there.
So another effort for Harris to have a go at, as the ball delivered in, a lower one this time, edge of the box, goes to Johnny Dye, gives it back to Harris out on the right, still got a little bit of time and space, delivers the ball in now, whipped in, good header clear there by I think it was Lambert, but Simpton's picked it up on the right, on the left hand channel, and does well to beat a player, now attacking down the left hand side in pursuit, tries to flick a ball inside but runs out of place. That was good positive play. Rumbold, strong header in field. Simpson still up there in the box, making himself felt around, heads the ball, hopefully not injured. He went down there a little bit, and now the ball bounces hopefully forward, and it will be harmlessly. Rumbold's now got it back to Ryan Parsons, who drives the ball forward, which Scott Harris is immediately after, but just not quite fast enough. And Ed Smith is now just sorting out his boot problem. I think someone may have stood on it, so we're not going down like flies just yet, hopefully. But there's a few concerns, Mick, a few little niggling challenges and injuries going on.
Yeah, we can do without at this stage of the season, can't we, with a small squad. But we have got Simpton in, which hopefully is not a long-term solution. I don't mean any disrespect to the lad, because he has played well at the back, but we do need regular players back. But he has fitted in well. He's just got another header in down the far side.
And the ball's in the left back position at the moment for St Ives. Ball cleared forward towards Vieira, but Simpson in attention and clears the ball, hooks the ball out of play, and it'll be thrown to St Ives on the far side under the camera.
Fortunately, we've not seen much of Vieira this game so far.
He looked like quite a lively player in the encounter that they played up at St Ives. Lovely little ground. I think they're looking to build the ground. Referee was playing advantage there for a challenge, I think, either by Rumbold or Smith, and he's just having a little word, I think, with probably Ed's. No, he's just being a little bit fastidious about where this free kick's taken, just making sure it's on the halfway line, about 10 yards or so in field, and this will give St Ives the opportunity to get bodies into the box and to challenge as they send some of their bigger players forward.
We've got a 5-man back line.
So gathered all Slough players and accompanying St Ives edge of the box, just holding the line at the moment as the ball's delivered long towards the far post. Woosley underneath it, and great towering header, but one again, second ball on the edge of the box by St Ives, but hook clear well by Shaw. The ball, Scott Harris making a nuisance of himself up against Fordham. Fordham, who's a bit of a giant and almost slightly reminds you of the darts player Fordham, but anyway, enough of that. He's a long server for. There's two very long servers in the St Ives team, with both Will Fordham and Dan Newman playing at the back. It looks like they're playing a 5-3-2, doesn't it? Really, Mick?
Yes, it does. Yeah, they certainly don't want to concede anything.
With a back three of Newman, Fordham, and Lambert, and then two wing backs of Hancock and Ashley White. So they're being fairly tight at the moment and inviting Slough onto them, but it's a tough old battle, and I'm not sure whether the change that they've made. It looks like Johnny Dyer's come out here to the left to fill in for the injured Jake Parsons, and he'll get an opportunity to go now and shut down one of the back three on the near side, but just backs off and gives them a bit of space. Once again, a long ball from St Ives. That looks like they're to the far left for them, to Vieira. Vieira cuts inside, leaving Fraser in his trait. Lines up a shot, but Simtin blocks it, edge of the box. Ball bobbles out and is still with possession of St Ives on the far left-hand side, with Shaw up against Ellison, the captain. Flicked inside, and King, who seems to be a little bit of a live wire there in the middle of midfield for St Ives, at the centre, the heartbeat of their play so far, I'd say.
Yes, yeah, he's like Jamie McClurg. He buzzes around a little bit. Got to keep an eye on him. Definitely got to keep an eye on him.
And so far, we have played 31 minutes of the first half here as a cross comes in from the left into the Slough box, and Woos is underneath it, and the ball bounces and bobbles down for the right wing back Hancock, but his left-footed effort blazed well wide and well over the bar, out the ground, and it will be a goal kick to Somerville. So what do you make so far of it, Mick? It's not a great game, is it? It's not one
not
for the
settled.
purists.
It's very, very, very scrappy, but like I said, neither side wants to lose. That's the thing. But nobody's stamped their authority on it so far. It is a little bit battle in midfield, really, but they might have a word at half-time.
Just a quick hi to Charles in Lewisham, who's apparently got his windows open and watching the daffodils fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Would you like to be in Lewisham rather than Leeds?
No.
Which is the best place that starts with an L? Should we have a competition? Where's the best place that starts with an L? Or where else are you watching it, and what are the weather conditions like? Not necessarily all you people in the UK, but if you're over in any of these other locations around the world, where are you? What's it like? And what are you doing? Are you having a nice glass of Rioja, or are you just waiting to go out for your Saturday night? Slough attacking, playing advantage on the right-hand side. Ball comes in from Johnny Dyer, and the keeper's challenged for it, and it got very lucky. It looked like Scott Harris had taken it out of his hands in the air, but it bounced down, and luckily for Benny, and it's bounced straight back up into his arms.
Keeper punched it onto Scott Harris, and he was very, very fortunate to get it back, because he got no idea where it had gone.
I don't mean to be too rude about St Ives, but I don't think they're looking to really get the ball down and play too much, Mick. Their first thought is get the ball forward and then let them worry. It's almost a bit rugby style. It's almost let's play for territory and then worry about possession. Yes,
it is. But it's still 0-0, and that's the worry. They only need one shot on target. But they've not threatened. I mean, Jake's goal, apart from the one where he parried and then covered, they've not really threatened. But on the other hand, neither have we.
There's comments that Mick seems rather sedated. I think it's because we're almost in a greenhouse type situation, because we're behind a layer of glass in the sun. It's quite warm, and Mick's had a long drive, so I think he is a little bit sleepy, ladies and gentlemen. We could probably get him some Red Bull at half time, as Warren Harris just protests that he got pushed. The referee agrees, and it will be a free kick just down in front of us to Slough, which Somerville will once again take, looking to hit it long and right, I would think, in the direction of Johnny Dyer. This one straight towards Ed Smith. The keeper's coming out, and the keeper comes out, and this time it's a much better claim from him. And the keeper seemed to be playing kind of past the ball at some occasions, with his ball bouncing very high and very hard off this firm surface here at Holloway's Park today. It's really dry and dusty. Fantastic views, fantastic weather, a little bit of wind. Woo's just under that header this time, and Johnny Dyer holds the ball up, but he's adjudged the ball bounced up and hit him on the hand, so it's a free kick which Ellison stood over for St Ives mid-pitch, but he's not put it down in the right place, and so the referee's just bringing him back and just putting him in his place. We've had 35 minutes in this first half. It remains Slough Town 0, St Ives Town 0. No real clear efforts on target as yet.
No, it has been incredibly bitty.
There was one good shot saved by Somerville that bobbled in front of him. Free kick chipped into the box, but Simtin, once again, a really good header just outside the box. Falls to Short. Short volleys it out to Ed Smith, who's in front of the dugouts. Plenty of space, just over halfway now and advancing, keeping his head up, having a look at what his options are. Tries a crossfield ball to Warren Harris. Warren Harris slightly behind him, takes a touch, controls it well. Ryan Parsons screaming for the ball. Pass back to Parsons. 10 yards outside the box, quickly under pressure. Inside to Short. Short goes for the 1-2, but there's no pressure there. And across comes Ed Smith to try and shut it down, but the ball doesn't find him. Parsons on the near side. Just loses out there in the challenge, but a throw into Slough Town, which he will take, and it looks like Scott Harris making a run down the line for the ball. And the ball breaking clear as as St Ives have the opportunity to play. But now the ball's fallen to Ryan Parsons, who's clipped the ball forward towards Short. Warren Harris, edge of the box, lines up the trigger, pulls the trigger, and it bowls just nasty. A low drive towards the near post, but Benion's just in front of it. But we've just been delivered a wagon wheel, which is always appreciated. We're never going to turn wagon wheels away. And so we're very thankful for that. That, I think, has come from the mascots. There seems to be just like the Pied Piper of wagon wheels going on. There seems to be delivering them to everybody near and far. As once again, Simpton, underneath that clearance from Benion, heads it clear, but now it's with the left back, Ashley White for St Ives. Chips the ball down the line. Nice touch in Vieira now, 1-2. They're playing some nice football, and White caught offside. Waters caught offside there, just not quite paying, but a little bit more encouraging for them. They seem to be making some nice movement and understand each other's play. And Slough don't quite look like they're always on the same wavelength out here right now. Long clearance from Somerville finds Harris, who's now on the left wing. Warren Harris turns his man, got a little bit of space down towards the byline. Parsons in support. Harris tries to find Parsons, but the pass is blocked, and Parsons now collects the ball, facing towards his own goal. Right-footed chip forward towards Scott Harris. Scott Harris underneath it, but beaten to it. But Ed Smith, edge of the box, has an opportunity shot, but it's blocked, and it rolls harmlessly out left for a throw. Slightly more entertaining now, Mick.
Yeah, we've had more possession. We're up against a 5-man defence, and they are playing quite well at the back.
A cross came in there from Parsons on the left, which was punched well clear by Benion, but the Parsons out there on the left again, drives a ball in. 2 Slough players underneath it, but neither can get much on it, and it's cleared by White in the left back position. But well won there by Fraser. Fraser keeping with the ball well, out to Short. Short in the middle of midfield, midway inside the St Ives half. Harris all the way across goal, all the way across the box, finds Johnny Dard. Johnny Dard drives, paddled clear by Benion, and it is harmlessly out for a goal kick. That was better by Slough. Just it needed someone to get on the edge of that crossfield ball by Warren Harris there, but no one really made much of it. And then Johnny Dard's shot was unfortunately blocked. So just coming a bit more possession and a bit more momentum, I would say, with Slough at the moment. We are a little bit better than we've been in the past. In this one, it's not been the greatest game, however, but we have got more possession, and that was a good move. As ever, if you want to contact us, please ask us a question, make comments, let us know how the audio is going on the chat room, either the Slough chat room, the MyFC chat room, or alternatively, by all means, contact us through @MyFC's Rebels Radio via the medium of Twitter. We welcome all feedback, as Slough are awarded a free kick just on the left, 5 yards outside the box, and St Ives are starting to moan a little bit about this. There's just a few biddy free kicks coming off now, isn't there? So we're just waiting for the ball to be placed, the referee to pace out his 10 steps. Warren Harris over this will be an in-swinger. Plenty of Slough bodies forward, with only Fraser and Ryan Parsons now left at the back. Free kick 5 yards outside the box and 5 yards deeper than the box, so we're hoping for a whip delivery here in by Harris. Harris delivers towards the back post. Keeper comes and punches. Ed Smith, edge of the box, volleys, and only hits it against the bar of an empty goal over a melee of players, and that was the best chance of the half so far. A really good technique shown by Ed Smith, who was 20 yards out, centre of goal, and volleyed it with power. And Benion wasn't anywhere because he'd just been in the midst of a group of players following his punch, and it went over all of them, clipped the top of the bar, and safely over for a goal kick to
Ed was unmarked. Ed was unmarked there, and unfortunately he did volley it on the top of the bar, but that's encouraging. That's a better move from Slough.
Woo's a commanding header there, but again picked up by the back line for St Ives, and they seem through their numbers at the back to be able to pick up quite a lot of possession and then just play balls long, which then Slough are forced to defend. Simpton on the ball now. Obviously, Fraser's hurt his hand, so he can't now no longer take throw-ons. And with Simpton having an arm like that, I don't see why we don't use him, because that was a hell of a throw.
It was a good throw.
Ball on the halfway line now with Parsons on the left wing, closed down early, but flicks the ball through towards Harris. Harris pursued by the big defender of Newman down in that left corner. Newman does well, just does a defender's job, and the ball's out now for an attacking throw to Slough. Slough seeming to pull it together a little bit more in these last few minutes, but it still seems from me, Mick, it may be that we're behind a wall, but it seems a little bit quiet out there. It seems like there's a little bit of that zip and leadership kind of missing a little bit.
Yes, there is, definitely. There is no leadership today, unfortunately, and it is very, very bitty.
Ball still out down in that left-hand corner. Once again, another Slough throw. As I say, it just doesn't seem to be quite coming off for the Rebels as yet. They're coming into this great game, feeling it slowly on the way in. Kind of probably a couple of the changes that forced through substitutions and things like that are just putting a little bit of pressure on the team. As there's an opportunity now that it's broken, but Simpton's picked up the ball, plenty of space, clips the ball out right to Johnny Dyer, midway inside the St Ives half, pass the ball down towards the channel area for Scott Harris to chase, but the defender's in it, and he gives Fordham a good old shove, but Fordham's no mug, and the ball is safely out for a goal kick, which the keeper will take. Is Mick going down with the lurgy? I don't think Mick's going down with the lurgy, Worcester Dave. We're probably about 5 minutes away from half-time now, bearing in mind there's been a lot of injury time. Obviously, Jake Parsons being replaced by Scott Harris earlier in this half. He looked like he perhaps had a hamstring tweak or injury there, and he tried it for a few minutes but couldn't get on with it. And Adam Fowler's still out, so we have Simpton making his debut on loan from Met Police for the game, and so far very impressive, really. Debut from Simpton, would you say, Mick?
Come from a division above, and it looks like he's come from a division above. He's very, very competent. He
seems to be coasting a bit, doesn't he? He's certainly not he doesn't look pressured by the game in any shape, form.
No, he's not out of place at this level, that's for sure.
No.
Like you say, he's played how many games? 30 odd?
38, I believe. Ball with Somerville, a cross shot in there, but Somerville looks to send the ball up clearly, Longley, but there's an absolute free header and time there for the centre back Jordan Lambert to take his time, pass it out to right back Hancock clears the long ball forward, Simpton underneath it, and that's bread and butter for him. Short back there now out to Parsons, and Parsons will clear up the line. Warren Harris underneath it, flicks it on in the direction of Ed Smith, but it doesn't quite come off, and the ball is now safely back, I believe, with Fordham in the kind of centre, the left of the three centre backs for St Ives, and clears the ball forward. But now there's an opportunity for St Ives to attack. Unfortunately for Hancock, he can't quite keep the ball up, and now he's just thrown the ball away, which is quite cynical, and could well be a booking here. But I think at the moment the referee's done very well so far. He seems to have played it with a real common sense attitude, and now Ellison's protesting for them, but Hancock is again arguing, and we'll just have to see and monitor this. It just seemed a bit childish, unnecessary really, didn't it? Because the ball came out just in front of us. He had the ball at his hands, and then he just threw the ball down the line to stop Slough from taking a quick throw.
And as there was no Slough player in sight to take a quick throw, I don't know why he did it, to be honest.
Ball thrown up the line. Warren Harris underneath it, tries to cut inside, and Scott Harris comes in. Scott Harris battling away there, almost in centre midfield, and ball cleared out to the left now, where Ashley White for St Ives looks up, clips a high ball up the line towards up centre to Vieira, but Simpton's wise to it, and Simpton comes again. Colossus very strong in there, but it's with Bannister back to White, and White now inside, and now the back three are just having the ball for a little bit of time, and Warren Harris has the opportunity to run at his man. He's certainly not going to bottle out of too much there, and he just overran the ball, and it looked like Dan Newman comes away with the ball well, plays the ball inside. Vieira on the ball just down in front of us with Woos at his feet. Back to Newman, attack out of back three, left foot strike from distance, centre of the goal, quite a decent strike. Somerville tips over the bar for a corner to St Ives.
Minute to go to half time plus injury. Nobody picked the lad up there. Nobody picked him up at all.
I think the danger is when you come out that back three like that, the centre forwards aren't picking him up, and the midfield are thinking, well, hang on, we're on an easy time here. There's no one really coming forward. So interesting to see how it's going. So
there's a nice little tip over from Jake.
It was a nice little tip over. Hopefully you may have heard some of the interviews that we've done with the management team during the weeks and things like that. We're going to hopefully do a little bit more of those. It will be interesting to know your thoughts, feedbacks. If you ever want anything asked, or if you want any questions, please let us know, and we'll do our best to answer those. as the corner kick comes in from the left, deep. And the St Ives fans behind the ground are shouting for something as Woos and Fordham link up. But Fordham takes a lot to knock him over, but he went down fairly easily there, didn't he, really?
They were shouting for a penalty, but he was off balance before he even started there.
I think it may have been his tummy may have taken him over there. He's not the trimmest of players, is he?
I know about that.
I think we all suffer from that sometimes, Mick, don't we?
Some more than most.
Yes, no comment. As this first half just seems to be petering out here, I think Slough would be at this stage welcoming the opportunity to get in, have a word with the boys, rearrange, reorganise. As the halves progress, there hasn't been much threat from either side particularly. Ed Smith's volley onto the bar apart, as in front of us, Matty Waters has a run, but the ball goes out, so it'll be a throw in to Slough, which Ryan Parsons will take almost immediately in front of us. And we have now played about a minute of injury time. I was suspecting that we might have about a minute or so more, as there was quite a long save. But a glorious afternoon here and a really nice day for football. And we just want the football to kind of match the weather, really, don't we, Mick?
We do. We had a couple of injuries, so there's probably 3 minutes, I would think, of injury time to play.
And the ball breaking down just in front of us with the captain Ellison on the ball, flicks it out left to the left back Ashley White on the far side, flicks the ball forward towards Bannister. Bannister loses out though, and Johnny Dyer plays a ball forward a little bit hopelessly, and it's plenty of time for the St Ives back three to get round that. And once again, the ball finds itself out in the left back position, clip forward, and the two centre backs go underneath it, and it looks like some of it had to be sharp there, as I think there was a little bit where Woos and Simpton almost went for the same ball there, and Ryan Parsons was just playing the left attacking winger on side from his left back position. Fraser sends a long ball forward there from the right back position, falls for short in the centre of the park, flicked up by Johnny Dyer. Scott Harris trying to flick the ball on. There's a big physical battle up there. These guys in the air as the ball falls to Ryan Parsons, 10 yards inside the St Ives half, left-hand pitch, cuts inside to Rumbold. Rumbold has a look up, chips a ball long cross field. Ed Smith chests it down, back to Warren Harris. Warren Harris takes a shot, but it doesn't connect well, and it just hits the St Ives centre back, and that will do us for the first half. So, Mick, what do you make of that first half as the players make their ways off? I think there's a little bit for the boys to talk about in the rooms at half time.
I think the hairdryer should come out at half time, to be honest. It was very, very scrappy. Neither side wanted, I don't think, to take control of the thing. Defences were on top. Certainly St Ives playing five at the back weren't going to give Ed and everybody else any room at all to get through there. We had the best chance. Ed hit the bar. We had another couple of half chances that weren't taken properly. They had the one a few minutes ago from Jake, when Jake tipped it over, and just after that Vieira went through, but Jake had read that when you said about the two defenders getting a little bit mixed up, and Jake came out and smothered that one quite easily. But apart from that, we have had most of the possession, but we still haven't scored. But there again, they haven't scored either, so we'll see what happens in the second half. But it was scrappy.
Yes. For any one of you who's wondering where, obviously you people can all listen, but how you can let other people know where the links are and where to listen, you can either find it obviously on the MyFC site. There's links through there. There's links through the Twitter feed through @MyFC Rebels Radio, or on the Slough Town website itself. About halfway down, there is underneath the 500 Club. There's a massive set of symbols saying Rebels Radio with live commentary. So please click there. It's got all our historic interviews and matches. So that's just www.sloughtownfc.net. About halfway down, Rebels Radio on there. I'm not sure that's been on there always. I think it's a more recent development, so that's really positive. It's next to the match photography from our good friend Horsham Rebel, as the Slough fans in front of us are making their way back round to probably get a cup of tea and contemplate what's happened in that first half. So interesting games here so far. Just not many chances, but quite open.
That link on the Rebels on the Slough Town website has come from Steve Easterbrook, because I emailed him a few weeks ago and he said he was going to put it up, and I don't think that was there. That wasn't there last weekend, and I don't think it was there on Tuesday night. So I know you're not listening, Steve, but I shall see you afterwards, and thank you very much for doing that.
I think he may have walked past shortly.
Has he walked past?
I think he may have done shortly.
And never waved?
No, they very rarely are the people waving. So things are going well, and it's a good day out in the sun.
They could come and throw money at us.
Yes, I'm not sure. We'll have to see what's going on. Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Good.
Something out, 'cause he's on the turnstile, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. We're always after more volunteers. I thought you might be coming to have a little go yourself there. But Not your idea of fun. Got some other half-time scores for you. Aylesbury FC 2, Beaconsfield 2. Northwood 0, Royston 1. And obviously here it's 0-0. Ashford 1, Leighton 1. Chertsey 0, Uxbridge 1. And I think that's it. Kettering 0, Marlow 0. So that's quite a useful game to keep an eye on. As yet, haven't seen anything about the Dunstable-Barton game, so that'll be interesting to know. I know there's been a sending off in the Royston game as well, so we'll have to see how that develops in the half. And obviously,
Rugby.
Rugby
Dunstable.
Rugby Dunstable. Did
Not
I say
Barton,
Barton?
yeah.
Sorry.
It could be Egham, probably, for all.
Egham, I'll just
for
say
all
Egham
you
lots.
know. Yeah.
Egham, just
Yeah.
say Egham. Rugby are normally quite good at tweeting as well, so I'm a bit surprised that they haven't quite done anything yet. But anyway, we'll sign off for the end of the first half, and we'll catch up with you all soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you. We're welcome back, everybody. We are ready to kick off the second half. Slough playing from left to right. The crowd's sort of woken up again. It's still 0-0. It's incredibly sunny. The referee's just counting up to make sure it's 11 aside. And we're ready to go, and hopefully a better second half. Hopefully the hairdryer treatments worked at half time.
Is it 11 aside? Oh, good. Anyway, at least we're not down to 10 like on on Tuesday night. I'll just take you through the teams quickly as we are now kind of staring deep into the sun. Slough in the left half as we look at it, shooting left to right up the hill towards the. We just got underway by the referee Kieran Bailey. The starting 11 for Slough was 1 Jake Somerville, 2 Sean Fraser, 3 Ryan Parsons, 4 Dave Woozy, 5 Dan Simtin on his debut, 6 Lee Rumbold, 7 Johnny Dyer, 8 George Short, 9 Ed Smith, Jake Parsons number 10, he's now been replaced because he got injured after 26 minutes of the first half, replaced by Scott Harris, and number 11 Warren Harris. On the bench, Guy Hollis number 12, James McClurg 14, Seb Costello 15, and Adam Cornell number 18. And for St Ives, the Saints, the visitors, number 1 Nick Benyon, 2 Mitch Hancock, 3 Ashley White, 4 Dan Newman, 5 Will Fordham, 6 Jordan Lambert, 7 Jason King, 8 Lee Ellison, their captain, 9 Avi Vieira, 10 Matty Walters, 11 Matt Bannister. The balls bounced there through to Ed Smith and edge of the box, and he could have probably had a couple of touches, but he's hit it high and wide with the outside of his, but it was a little bit lazy. Maybe lacking a little bit in confidence there. You'd expect it to take him on there, Mick, wouldn't you?
His head's gone down a little bit after that. That was a very, very poor effort, and it nearly ended up at the corner flag, to be honest.
He could have taken a few touches. Sorry, just to finish off, the subs for St Ives, number 12 David Cobb, 14 Tom Meakin, 15 Warren Everdell, and 16 Dan Rosalo.
He seems to be clutching his left knee occasionally, does Ed, as well. I don't know if that's...
Sometimes that seems to happen when he hasn't scored.
Right.
You know, and I think I think there's a few players out there carrying knocks. They've played 3 competitive games in a week, this being the 3rd, and they need to get kind of stuck in as St Ives have the ball down the right hand side and kick a fairly hopeless ball down, and Somerville's got acres to pick it. The shadow's just starting to fall over the pitch on that far left hand side where Somerville is, dressed all in blue with his dizzy yellow boots on, and clears out his hands long. Short aims to flick on but gets underneath it. Ball now on the left back position, Parsons in with a very strong challenge there, but the ball reacts and bounces through to left back. But now there's an opportunity for Slough 8. Warren Harris on the left, running forward, passes the ball out to the left to Parsons. Ball crossed back in. It's flicking around in the box. There's a scramble, and Johnny Dyer left foot volley from about 6 yards out, and leaning back, it goes over the bar. There was a right mess in there, Mick.
It came to him very, very quickly, but he should have done a bit better than that. He was nowhere near. Straight over the stand roof. Dreadful. But it was, to be fair, it did bounce fairly quickly to him, unfortunately. We've just had a wave from outside as well, from a gentleman.
It's not a Mexican wave.
No, it wasn't a Mexican wave.
It was sort of some other sort of symbol that I'm not quite sure what it meant, but I think he was asking me if I wanted a coffee.
Yeah.
The ball's a goal kick for St Ives, which Benyon will take, dressed in luminous yellow. Not a great clearance there, and Warren Harris is underneath it. Adjust to a fouled Hancock there, the right back. And St Ives are playing a 5-3-2 with 3 big centre-backs. You couldn't get 3 bigger centre-backs of number 4 Dan Newman, 5 Will Fordham and 6 Jordan Lambert. Both Newman and Fordham have made over 500 appearances for the Saints, so they're experienced campaigners. And on the touchline, on the benches for both teams, we have set joint managers for each team today. So the managers for St Ives have been at the job 11 seasons, and they've done, they've won a whole host of trophies and competitions, and they've also been in charge, obviously, over 500 matches. As a kick from Somerville's flicked on by Short, and Ed Smith's interested, and he's put in the charge in to try and cover it off, and then there's a little bit of afters as Ed Smith just grabs hold of his shirt of Jordan Lambert, who got sent off last week against Northwood. So I'm not sure what that reason was for, but the referee just goes over and makes him calm down. But that was good determination shown by Smith.
Yes, at least he's run after it, which he didn't really do in the first half. He seems to have got a little bit of enthusiasm this half. Let's hope he can find the net, or somebody can find the net for Slough.
So a big clearance up forward, and again Simpson trying to get underneath it, but Vieira just beats him to that ball this time. But the ball falls back to Simpson, and Simpson volleys it up clear. Scott Harris underneath, great flick to Ed Smith, and ricochets back to Scott Harris. Warren Harris on the ball, edge of the box, but the ball's just getting away from him. Still with the ball at his feet, pass it out right to Scott Harris. Scott Harris crosses the ball through it, bounces up and hits the player on the arm, but the referee is saying the arm's over. Absolutely immediately. The ball's now out on the right with Sean Fraser, who skins his player down towards the right byline, tries to get the cross in. Great cross towards the back post. Keeper comes out and does very well, and will now calm it down and slow it down a little bit. But that was what did you make of that cross?
That was much better. That was a bit too near the keeper. Somebody should have challenged him, but that was a good move all round there. Well, certainly a better start to the second half, anyway.
And that Scott Harris shot with the block with the hand. What did you make of that? Was that ball to hand or hand?
I don't think it was. It was ball to hand.
Long ball forward now. Slough have started with a lot more intensity this half, wouldn't you say, Mick?
They have. They're still pressing now.
Ed Smith seemed to get an arm in the face there from the rather large forward who's protesting, but there's an opportunity now here, 2 yards outside the 18-yard box, just to the right of the D, and there's a little bit of afters there still. There's a little bit.
Is that Lambert again?
No, it's Fordham. It's the big fella.
The lads are should I go at Smith there? He had a little kick at him as well.
Oh, well, that's not unusual. Smith making friends with the St Ives players. Warren Harris stood over the ball. There's a three-man wall who are about 2 yards away. I'm not sure they can count out there in St Ives.
No, I don't think they can, actually. Well, it is the south.
But Bailey has now... that's the referee, has just marched them back, and Warren Harris stood over the ball. Whether he's going to have a shot or a cross, we'll wait to see. But he stood up 20 yards out to the right of goal. Chips it up and just over the right-hand angle of post and bar and into the shed behind the goal, who returned the ball very quickly. But there's better intention here from Slough.
That was a lot better. That was only just over. The keeper had it covered, admittedly, but we're showing promise this half now. Much, much better half. We seem to have settled down. We've taken a bit of control of the midfield. We've had 2 or 3 good chances.
So, Benyon now clears the ball long, and Simpson underneath it against Vieira. Simpson seemed to be climbing on Vieira there, and yes, the referees noticed, just signals that he was holding him down, and it's a free kick to St Ives, centre of the park, 10 yards inside the Slough half, which they don't seem any speed in taking. It's almost like they come here happy to draw and perhaps nick something. They've sent a few of the big lads forward. The captain Ellison's number 8 isn't short or shy. They're looking to do it short, edge of the box. They've done it short. King now got the ball. Outside, passes the ball out to right. Newman on the ball, tries to stand up across towards the back post. Somerville underneath it, claims it well, and is now immediately on his bike and drives the ball out of his hands to this right-hand near side with Ed Smith in pursuit, but I think it's going to beat him and go out of play. But Ed Smith does very well, keeps the ball in play, and then seems to get fouled. There's a 50-50 ball, which Ed Smith does well. I thought he was going to lunge at him, but he didn't do well. Ball back with Rumbold now, back to Fraser. Fraser to Short. Great crossfield ball out towards Harris on the far side, but just cut out by one of the centre 3 from St Ives, and Ryan Parsons will take the throw quickly back to Woos, who's made his way forward 20 yards inside the St Ives half, tries to chip a ball through to Scott Harris, who's putting the captain Ellison under all sorts of pressure. Ball now out to Vieira, still deep inside the St Ives half, up to halfway. Fraser on the ball. Johnny Dyer now, centre of the pitch, tries to chip a ball through but misplaced, and he would have been better to come out right there, do you think, Mick?
Yes, there was who was it down here?
Fraser
and
Warren Harris
was on this side, yeah.
But
he didn't look.
Ball passed through to Somerville, who does well with a bobbling ball to get a good purchase on it, and up. But once again, St Ives winning the header, but falls to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer up to Ed Smith, left-hand edge of the pitch. Tries to chip a ball into the area, and there's no Slough player there. The ball rolled out by the keeper, and Ashley White has the opportunity in left back for St Ives to open himself up. Pass it back inside to Ellison. Ellison deep, 20 yards inside his own half, looking up, looking to clear the ball right towards Vieira. Parsons underneath it, heads back to Somerville. Any danger averted. Slough still in the ascendancy, Mick.
Yeah, they are. St Ives look to me as though they're quite happy with a point and then try and pinch something, to be honest with you. They've not really threatened a great deal.
And the long clearance from Somerville clipped a defender on the way back. It looked like it might race out for a corner to Slough, but the keeper Benyon was alert to it and just gathered the ball and is now in his hands. He's rolled it out in front of him. The shadow's lengthening here as this spring afternoon draws to a close. But but it's a lovely, lovely afternoon with a little bit of breeze. Simpson's underneath it, climbs well, but doesn't get much purchase on his header. Fraser's underneath it as well, but Simpson's recovered well, uses the ball very well, passes it to Johnny Dyer. Johnny Dyer played inside ball to Harris. Harris now got the ball at his feet, coming back towards his own goal. Pass it out right to Rumbold, immediately in front of me, 10 yards inside the Egham half. Egham, no, St Ives, never mind. We get it wrong. Rumbold flicks the ball through, too much on it. It bobbled just before he kicked it, and it's out harmlessly for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's not the Egham game, John.
I know. I keep thinking it's the Egham game. Perhaps I'm hoping that if I commentate on the Egham game again and again and again, we might not lose 3-1.
That's a possibility.
So, for all you new listeners, welcome. Please contact us at MyFC Rebel Radio on Twitter, or come onto the Matchday chat room on MyFC, or alternatively go onto the Slough Town fan forum, and we can, by all means, interact with us, talk to us, let us know what's going on. There's probably a slight delay on the broadcast between that and actually being here live. So if you're here live and you're thinking, hang on, I've seen that bit, there's a reason. It goes off to the satellites. As Parsons, quick throw in from the far side up towards Ed Smith. And there's a lot more urgency here. Whatever they've said at the half-time, the players seem to be responding as Parsons has the ball at his feet, far side, passes it to Harris, who's in a little bit of space, left foot cross, but cleared by Newman, only far as edge of the box, chests it back into the danger area, and Newman oofs the ball clear, and Woos is underneath it, heads the ball off the top of Walters' head, but again, St Ives win the 50-50 ball, and now Woos has to do a bit of work to chase back, to catch up with Walters, shuts him down, Walters cuts inside, looking across the field, chips the ball to Vieira, which is won well by Fraser, and now Johnny Dyer in an unfamiliar right midfield, right back position, challenging for the ball, wins it, and Ed Smith now just inside his own half, flicks the ball against Fordham. Fordham uses his strength and power, chips the ball, and Ed Smith is given away a free kick there, just given as pulling back at Fordham, and I'm sure it's pretty noticeable on a shirt that tight as to how it looks, but referee just making sure he's happy with where the free kick is. The very, very bearded, almost caveman-like Lambert looks like he's going to be the free kick specialist, and he'll hook this into the box from just inside the Slough half, right on the left-hand touch line. There's a few of the big St Ives players for it, and it's agricultural ball, long into the box. There seemed to be some contact under there. Referee stopped it. Fordham carried on, took the ball, flicked it, and it went into the back of the Slough net, but there wasn't a lot of cheering going on. A little bit of St Ives here.
Yeah, it was a definite foul, though. That's no arguments on that one when he put the ball in.
No, so we have played 11 minutes of the second half. Still remains Slough Town 0, St Ives 1. As the ball's in the far right corner, Eddie Smith tries to cross the ball in. It goes towards Johnny Dyer. The ball's bouncing around the edge of the box, and Johnny Dyer feels he should have got better. He's lying behind the goal, hands on his head, as the ball came across a low, good cross from Ed Smith, and he flung himself in at it, but the ball came through to Bennion as Johnny Dyer was under a little bit of pressure there. But the chances are coming, aren't they?
The chances are coming, and you just gave St Ives a goal there as well, but never mind.
It's 0-0 still.
It is still 0-0, not 1-0 to St Ives. At least you didn't say Egham.
Oh, I didn't say Egham.
No.
It's still 0-0 as a long ball goes forward by Egham. Again, Simpson wins underneath it, but the ball's going to fall now to St Ives on the far left-hand side. King on the ball. King passes inside to Ellison, the captain. Getting a few passes together here, and an attempted shot there by Bannister's blocked and charged down by a combination of Fowler and Short, it looked like, and Parsons can merely help the ball out, and there's a throw in to St Ives on the far side. So it remains Slough Town 0, St Ives Town 0. We have played 13 minutes of the second half, and a long ball forward there, and Lambert's underneath it, pass it back to the goalkeeper, and it bobbles horribly, and it's gone straight to Smith. Smith attacking in the edge of the box, but Lambert's recovered well, and unfortunately Smith's touch was just too heavy, but that shows what this pitch is like. It bobbled just before the keeper Bennion cleared it, and it went just straight up in the air.
Went straight up in the air, didn't make the edge of the 18-yard box, and unfortunately Ed couldn't control it, and it was just muscled out of play there. But we're keeping up the pressure at the moment. We're keeping up the pressure. It'll only take one goal, and I think if we get one goal, that hopefully will be it. I think that should be it.
There's a few other interesting results going on in the division, with Aylesbury now beating Beaconsfield 3-2, and it looks as if there's been a goal at the Kettering game, and it hasn't gone to Kettering, so Kettering are trailing 1-0 at home to Marlow, so that would be a good result if that stayed for the championships. But I think we need to focus on what's going on here, and Woo's trying to come away with the ball in the left back position. clips the ball up long towards Scott Harris, but Newman wins that clear. But Ellison off it, and Wu still up in advance, his most advanced position, in the left position. Tries to chip a ball through to Ed Smith and Johnny Dyer, but just too long. And the ball's now gone out to the left channel, and Ashley White will have a little bit of a run. Looks for the ball. Short ball there through to Waters. Waters back to Fordham at the back. Left foot just inside his own half. Centre of the field now with Ellison on the ball. Ellison just having a look at his opportunities. Simple ball out to the right back to Newman. Getting a little bit more space and time on the ball now. Crossfield ball there attempted to Waters, but Johnny Dyer does well. Works back and cuts the pass out, and Short then plays a very ambitious long ball, and it goes through harmlessly for. Harmlessly through. There's some growing frustration in the ranks.
The natives are getting a bit restless. You can understand it, really. That was an aimless ball.
So I think they just want to see a little bit more from the Rebels here, as they're just lacking a little bit of quality. Short on the ball now, passes it, simple ball on halfway, out to Parsons. Parsons cuts back inside, right for the ball up the line to Harris, and Harris has now got an opportunity to win this ball if he can keep it in. Unfortunately, the ball just beats him out, so it'll be yet another goal kick to St Ives.
They're in no hurry to take it. They've played their 5 at the back, and they're quite happy to settle for a draw and hopefully pinch something, but they've not really looked like it, to be fair to them.
No, we've played 15 minutes now this second half. One substitute made to date, and it was for an injury reason, with Jake Parsons being taken off and replaced by Scott Harris after 26 minutes. It looked like Jake Parsons adding to Kev's workload from an injury perspective. As the ball's clipped forward long, Ed Smith holds it up 10 yards inside the half. Scott Harris tries to clear a ball through. Symptoms beaten then by Waters. Vieira now plays a nice ball out to the right to Bannister, who's attacking for St Ives. Bannister, right edge of the box, cuts inside on his left foot, tries a shot. Woos cuts it down, back to Bannister, and then a good challenge comes in from Fraser, and it's cleared out to the right. But Vieira's now picking the ball up with Simpson in pursuit. Left-hand edge of the penalty box, close to the byline, stands up, brings it onto his right foot. Still got the ball at his feet, just looking for some options. Short ball into Ellison. Ellison back left to Fordham. Fordham chips the ball through to no one at all, and Fraser takes a couple of touches to get it under control and clears a long ball forward without looking up, and it's to nobody at all. So Newman's got plenty of time in his own half to cope with the ball, but Ed Smith closing it down well. Rumbold now got Rumbold with the ball at his foot, trying to get away from players, but there's not a lot of movement ahead of him. Clever ball through to Warren Harris out on the right. Tries a reverse ball to Ed Smith, and didn't really look, and again pickpocketed by the numbers of men in red shirts. But Warren Harris runs back, tries to make atones for his error, and now Fraser inside the St Ives half. Short ball to Scott Harris. Scott Harris still got the ball at his feet, but has it nicked off him. Good win by Simpson. Short now with space. Clips the ball out to left back to Parsons. Parsons got plenty of space on the halfway line. Now getting closed down by Waters. Just stops, checks the ball, passes it to Rumbold. Rumbold, clever ball back to Parsons, who just lost out there, and that while the St Ives players are arguing with the referee about that decision, the ball's back in play, and there's a free kick edge of the box, as I think it looked like Parsons was just blocked off there. So this is an attacking free kick on the edge, far side edge of the 18-yard box, which Warren House has stood over.
There's quite a lot more urgency now. We've got players in the box, and certainly Simpson's going up as well, and he's had a fabulous game. For me, at the moment, man of the match. But I might change my mind if somebody else scores.
And there's a little bit of noise coming from the shed now, as trying to encourage their players on to get this goal, as Warren Harris signals the free kick intent, whips the ball in with his right foot towards the back post. Simpson underneath it, but it's too long for Simpson, and it's harmlessly out for a goal kick. It wasn't quite the accuracy there of the free kick, was
it was far too high. It was about 2 foot over Simpson's head, and he's one of the tallest players. But he has had a fine game at the back, to be fair. There's virtually nothing he's missed.
So we're still awaiting our first goal in this match. We've been playing about 18 minutes of the second half. There's a little bit of activity on the Slough bench, a few players warming up. Just we can see them down there in the far side, just to see if the managers are fancying any changes at the moment. Long clearance though from the keeper, and Simpson now under a little bit of pressure from the attacker forwards, and hooks the ball clear, so it'll be a St Ives throw down the left-hand side, halfway down the touchline, and White to take it. Not an awful lot of players committed forward for St Ives here, and Short steals the ball off, but then is beaten in the challenge by White. Ball cuts inside, and Ellison now on the ball in centre midfielder, flicks it through, and the ball from Kings flicks through again. Vieira now picked up the ball midway inside, near the edge of the Slough box, shows a bit of strength, still got the ball at his feet, running parallel across the pitch, and Rumbold gets in quickly to nick the ball off King, and now Ryan Parsons has the ball. Misplaced. Slough just seem to be caught on their heels a few too many times here for me. Mick, I don't know what you think.
Yeah, just a little bit. And St Ives coming back into it just a fraction, but...
A long ball forward there, and Rumbold finds himself upfield and heads the ball on for Scott Harris to pursue. Scott Harris putting the defender under pressure, who can only head it forward. And then a headed clearance back by Lambert, and the keeper, Benayon, gratefully receives it. So, rolled out now to Newman. Still remains 0-0. 19 minutes of the second half gone. Simpton wins again, a towering header there at the back, but second ball's won by St Ives. Woo's got a little bit of time and space now here. The St Ives player went to ground quite easily there, but in the left back position, looks to clip an aerial ball forward. Harris competing underneath it, and he concedes a free kick there. Looked a little bit soft for me, that, Mick.
I think he barged into him a little bit, to be fair. I think that's probably a right decision, but we can do without that when we have the pressure. We could have done with keeping the pressure on them there. It's just relieved it for them.
Yes, so we have played 65 minutes of this game. It still remains Slough Town 0, St Ives 0. Free kick taken, harmlessly given away. Now Rumbold picks up the ball in the centre of midfield. A short pass to Warren Harris. Warren Harris running down the touchline, concedes a possession but wins it back, and it's now a throw-in to Slough almost on the halfway line, and the referee's just ordering the free kick the throw-in by Parsons to be taken from exactly the right spot, immediately under the cameraman. Parsons just throws the ball long into a Harris sandwich, and again, progress is being made slowly down the far side by means of throw-ins. Ball into the box, aimed at Johnny Dyer. Ball bouncing around, and Newman once again seems to have been everywhere for St Ives. Clears the ball long. Vieira now battling with Fraser on halfway. Fraser really giving him something to think about, and the tenacity pays off as the ball bounces clear, and then it's a bit of after you, Maud, as Dyer and Short looking at one another. The ball ends up bouncing around in the middle of the pitch, ends up back with Simpton, who passes the ball through to Somerville. Somerville clears out to the left. Warren Harris underneath. It looked like he got a shove there, but nothing doing from the referee, and Simpson's picked up the ball as it's passed through, and the ball's passed, but he finds all he can find is the defender of Hancock, and there's a challenge that comes in by, I think it looked like Warren Harris, just inside the St Ives half, and they've conceded the free kick.
Yeah, it's just gone off the boil a little bit again, hasn't it?
Yeah, the initial intensity after the half-time break seems to have just gone from Slough. I think they need a little bit of confidence here. They could do with just having a couple of chances, or maybe a change introduced by the management shortly, just to make sure that this momentum's clear. As the ball's kicked long into the box, headed away by Parsons, but only as far as Ellison. Now on the right-hand side, a very high aerial ball towards the far post, which Somerville does very well to claim, and looks to set the ball on his way quickly, and thrown out to Rumbold, who again trying to influence the game. Ball bobbling around a little bit, and just gets closed down by Ellison, and Ellison knocks the ball out of play. So we have played halfway through the second half now, and it is a throw into Slough. It is still Slough Town 0, St Ives Town 0. No significant moments of impact in this second half. A good chance by Johnny Dyer, and Ed Smith, perhaps if his touch had been slightly better, may have had a bit more of an opportunity when there was a poor clearance by the goalkeeper. Parsons now attacking over the left-hand edge as the ball's fallen to him. Closed down, but ball straight to Warren Harris. Warren Harris goes for the return, and Parsons very well towards the far bar line will have the opportunity to stand up a ball towards the far stick, but the keeper stretches very well, and Scott Harris is adjudged to have fouled him. I didn't see an awful lot of contact there.
No, the defender, Harris, went for the ball, and the keeper. The keeper did extremely well to take that one. He was under a lot of pressure. But that was a good move, and it was a very, very good cross as well.
So Rumbold underneath that clearance, and Fraser now helps the ball on its way. Smith underneath that. The linesman has signalled as there's an offside, and he's making sure his buzzer's held down so that the referee pulls the ball back, and it will be a free kick to St Ives midway inside their half, and it's just there's no real pattern to the game yet. There's no one for Slough getting their foot on the ball and making sure, or really driving the urgency forward. Rumbold's trying, I think, in his own way, but there's too many long balls being played forward.
And the crowd aren't exactly lifting Slough at the moment either. there's normally a bit of noise from the shed, and it's not there at the moment.
No, they seem almost to be getting a bit frustrated as the ball's driven into the Slough box, and Woos gets underneath it, heads it clear, and now it's once again at the feet of Somerville, and Somerville seems to be talked about a lot, so he's spending a lot of time clearing these balls as he clears it outright towards Dyer, but the ball's flipped, but not really competing in there, and Short gets a touch on the ball outright to Fraser, almost immediately in front of us. Tries hard to keep the ball in play, does. Johnny Dyer on the ball now, inside right channel, just running at the ball, flicks it to Ed Smith, goes for the on-2 return, flicks it ball, and it's in off the far post, and it's a goal to Slough! So out of nowhere, Johnny Dyer combines well with Ed Smith, 25 minutes into the second half, so a goal for Slough after 70 minutes played. Johnny Dyer, once again, after his 2 goals in the last game against St Ives, makes it 3 for the season against them, and that was all down to his own hard work.
He cut inside from in front of us here, like you said, into the inside right channel, flicked it to Ed Smith. Smith just flicked it forward to him, and he ran onto it.
And then hit a ball outside of his right boot.
Outside of his
right boot towards the far post, low, bobbly, and it went in off the far side.
That's what we needed.
And now there's a little bit of noise coming out, and I can see amongst the shed, I can see it's nice that Jake Parsons is stood up there in there, so he's in amongst the fans he likes to watch, and he's giving it a shout and cheer. So that's the first goal to Slough after 70 minutes, and it's Johnny Dyer once again. So now it's imperative that Slough work hard, and it'll be interesting to see if St Ives now have to change their game plan, having been comfortable sitting and looking happy for the draws. Fordham has a bit of time at the moment at the back, and Mick, I don't think, has won the golden goal, unfortunately. Mick, it was 70 minutes, I would have made it, maybe 69 or something, but he had 74, unfortunately, and being a tight man from Leeds, he was expecting some return on his money. The ball's out. There was a long ball played through to in the direction of the St Ives forwards, but it's gone out, and the locals are now a little bit happier, it seems.
They are, and St Ives now are going to have to come out and do something which they've not done for 70 minutes, so that's going to be unusual for them. They're going to have to attack, and maybe they'll make some changes as well. And it certainly looks as though Bakes and Unders might be they're discussing certain things. Somebody might be coming on.
They're both wearing shorts as well, so it shows you how warm it is, and they've got their leg out. Simpton underneath the clearance, and now Slough, let's hope with a bit more confidence, out to Ed Smith on the right, back to Rumbold. Rumbold clips the ball forward to Scott Harris, clips it nicely inside to Johnny Dyer, he takes a shot on the first one, and the bobble's just in front of the keeper, and the keeper saves it well, but much more encouraging signs from Slough here.
Yeah, a lot more confidence now. That was another good move, 2 little flicks there. Final shot not quite hard enough, not quite far enough away from the keeper, but it's better, much better.
I think that will give them a little bit of confidence as Fraser plays long ball forward. Has Scott Harris interested? He's in and amongst it, but headed back well by the under pressure a little bit by Lambert to his keeper. And once again, the St Ives keeper has the ball, and he seems to be wanting to take a little bit more time again, which is a bit unusual. You'd have thought he'd have a bit more urgency now, Mick.
Well, they're going to have to push people up if they want to get something out of this game, but they've not really threatened at all. It is, as I say, the last 20 minutes going to be difficult for them.
Simpson comes round the back of Vieira and wins again another great ball. Johnny Dyer now just inside his own half on the right hand side. Ball blocked and it's out of play, but Johnny Dyer very happy with his dashing beard. It seems to be growing quite a lot. I'm not sure whether he's doing it for whether he's going to grow for a while. Got a smile on his face as he just interacts with the crowd there. Nice to see, but he's in good form at the moment. Is Johnny, and he's added to his season's total already. So I believe that he'd prior to this scored 15 in the league, but now he's scored his 16th. So a good combination. And now the change has come for St Ives. They're taking off number 10, Matty Walters, and I can't see quite who. I didn't see any numbers there, Mick. Do you see who was coming
No, I
in?
didn't either. He'll turn round in a minute. I'll let you know in a minute.
That's always useful, Mick. I might even have a biscuit in a minute. I might
Fellow
go mad. I think from sight, I think that might be David Cobb, number 12, off the top of my
with a
head.
bald head and a beard.
But don't quote me on that. But my guess is David Cobb out the subs.
Is he playing for Egham?
He doesn't. He plays for St Ives, I believe, today.
Oh, right, okay.
Flicked on by Johnny Dyer. Now Scott Harris in the right position, holding the ball up, looking to get a cross in. Drives a low ball through, edge of the box. Cleared out initially by only as far as Johnny Dyer, edge of the box. Passes it to Rumbold, but just overhits it. But Rumbold still managed to keep the ball. Driving towards the left-back position now. Couple of step overs. Has Hancock in his weight, but down in that far corner. It just seems to get shoved over rather stupidly, if you ask me.
Took his legs there. It is David Cobb that's come on. He just took his legs away.
Am I a genius or what? Should we just say I'm a genius now?
You're a genius, yeah. Even though he probably think he plays for Egham.
He does play. Don't most people play for Egham?
I'm not convinced anymore. I've no idea who's playing anymore.
Aren't Egham the team that come in? Anyway, enough of our stupid inane banter. Rumbold over the free kick on the far side, right on the touchline, 5 yards away from the corner flag. A two-man wall in place. I think that's a bit unnecessary, but anyway, there's a free kick from Rumbold due to be taken in. Good delivery, flicked away at the near post though, and Vieira in pursuit, and so is Warren Harris, but it goes out harmlessly for a Slough throw, and Warren Harris stood with the ball, and it looks like Simpton will have a go at chucking a long one in there.
Well,
we haven't seen this for a little while, so Simpton stays forward. We've got Parsons and Fraser at the back with only David Cobb up front, and Simpton's going to do a long throw from the right. In it goes. Woo's underneath it. Tries to flick it on. It's falling in the box. George Short underneath it. Can't fall for anyone. There's a mad scramble in the box, but it's cleared in the end. Rumbold there. Pass it out right to Simpton. Simpton needs to cross it first. Has a drive of a shot off from the edge of the box, and it hits Ashley White and goes off for a corner. But that was good confidence there shown by Simpton to have a dig from there. The ball sat up nicely for him. He kind of half volleyed it. And the fans are making a little bit of noise, so it's a corner to Slough on the near side.
He can take a good throw in, that's for sure.
And I believe it's Rumbold now on corner duty. So Rumbold there, Warren Harris edge of the box, and Simpton and Woo's just standing on the edge of the box together. Lots of movement in the box. There's players running everywhere. Low free kick, falls to Harris on the edge of the box, volleys it with intent, but unfortunately lots of intent and power, but no accuracy, and it's a goal kick to St Ives. So we have played half an hour of the second half. Slough Town 1, St Ives 0, and I think the managers will be very happy. But we are having another substitution with Vieira now making way for Meakin. So Meakin is coming on for St Ives. They're making their changes quick, thick and fast now. So we've played half an hour of the second half. 15 minutes to go in this game, and Vieira, I think he'd had a quite good game really. He'd battled hard, didn't stop running.
He didn't start off very well, but he got into the game as it went on. But they've not really fed a lot up front to him, to be honest. They've not really threatened him at St Ives at all.
He hasn't had a lot of service, has he?
He's not a lot of service, no.
Ball comes through, and Parsons, again, very strong and solid Parsons today, as ever, is on the ball, but under a bit of pressure, and Simpson comes out of the box, but hooked up in the air, just midway inside the Slough half by Fraser, and now it will fall to Johnny Dyer, who's acting as right midfielder. Just takes a touch, back to Fraser, and Fraser hooks the ball long up the line, which Scott Harris underneath, Fordham having a hit, and flick through, and Ed Smith after it, and Ed Smith does well to block it, but unfortunately the ball comes out. But good effort there, good work rate there shown by Johnny Dyer, the normal forward, seemingly playing in the right back position, and Ed Smith and Scott Harris both making themselves float away. And the linesman has given that the ball was thrown in and then went out. So it will be a throw into Slough almost immediately in front of us. We have played 32 minutes of the second half. And Simpton again over this ball down the line to just take a long throw. Some of the forward players interested. Heading towards Scott Harris. Scott Harris flicks it on well towards in the direction of them. But Johnny Dyer picks up the ball, edge of the 18-yard box, flicks the ball through towards Warren Harris. Warren Harris through in on goal, and a great smothering save by the keeper, and it goes out harmlessly for a corner kick to Slough. But that was a great opportunity. A ball flicked through by Johnny Dyer, and I was expecting to see the flag go up, but Warren Harris on the right edge of the 18-yard box, making his way into the 6-yard box, and the keeper Bayon came out quickly and strongly and smothered the ball.
And I think if he'd have taken it first touch, I think we might have had a second goal there. And I think he just hesitated a bit.
So once again, we have Rumbold with a corner, near side, movement going on in the box. As the ball is driven in, Johnny Dyer's underneath it, falls to Ed Smith, charged down, edge of the box. Warren Harris is interested, flicks the ball, edge of Smith, George Short on it. Hooks the ball out to the right to Rumbold. Got to watch the bounce. Unfortunately, the hardness of the pitch just took it over. You'd need to be the size of George Short to control that one, and unfortunately, he's only the size of Lee Rumbold. And so the ball bounced out. So it'll be a throw in to St Ives, right back in their right-hand corner. And so now there's an opportunity to box them in and do some pressure. You just feel that it would be important that Slough get a goal here, just to make sure and cement this lead. They don't want to keep out for the last 5 minutes and have a nervy time.
Yeah, they must keep up the pressure. Got to keep up the pressure now. We're pinning them back in their own half, and it's important that we do that.
So far, a very effective performance by the Rebels. They haven't been at their vintage best, but they've got the goal that they need, and they're leading at the moment. And Rumbold, again, having a monumentous game in the midfield, and Simpton impressing very much on his debut. Cobb battling with him, and it looked like it fell to handball, but Ball now cleared out right and straight into the away team dugout, which will allow Ryan Parsons to not rush and not trip over himself at any point in speeding up and doing this. But we have played 34 minutes of the second half here at Holloway's Park. The clouds are just racing around. They're kind of dissipating, aren't they? It's kind of a bit of a hazy afternoon now. But the shadows are long now as the trees on the far side kind of cover it, and the ball's out on the far side. But some of the players haven't just realised that. It'll be a throw-in to St Ives on the far side. Everyone's just covering their vistas, and I'm standing up. I've had enough of sitting down, Mick.
Right. Okay.
So we're having a look, and we're seeing how things go as we just get waved out once again by the ever-loving Slough fans. Ball bouncing around in midfield. And the referee's given a free kick there to Slough. I'm not sure exactly what he saw there, but I'm not going to argue with him.
I think there was a slight nudge, but we'll settle for it. It ticks off a few more seconds, but we need to get that ball down in their area.
And once again, Slough are committing some players forward. There's Harris, Smith, Harris and Dyer all on the edge of the 18-yard box. And Somerville's been told to not come up for this kick because it's 5 yards in front. The manager's shepherding back, so Parsons will drive this ball from left edge of the Slough half, 5 yards inside it. Floats the ball forward. George Short controls edge of the box, flicks the ball over, and it was dipping, and it just was too much and went over the edge of the bar. But another chance by George there. His father in front of me applauds, and it will be a goal kick. But there's been more chances as the game's opened up, Mick.
And that was an excellent. He was side onto the goal there where he flicked it, and it didn't go that far over. I think the keeper probably had it covered, but it was a better chance. Another good one for us.
So we have about 10 minutes left plus injury time in this game. It remains Slough Town 1, St Ives 0, and Slough will be looking for this second goal to kill off this game, whereas St Ives will be hoping that they can come back into it as Cobb, substitute, comes onto the ball. Back to the captain Ellison, and White now making a bombing on run forward, but he's ignored as Ellison turns as well. Rumbold pressures him, and Newman comes forward from the back just to help out his friend in the right back position now, and the ball's bobbling around, hit forward, but there's some Slough defenders underneath it, but it's fallen to the other substitute towards Meakin in the far right-hand corner, up against Parsons, and Parsons concedes the throw. A little bit of pressure now coming from St Ives. They need to try and get something out of this game. I think they've started to turn the screw a little bit. They want something out of this game. They've come a long way, and it looks like it will be a long throw by Hancock from the far right-hand side into the box. Plenty of bodies in there. Long ball through. George Short does well in the air, but the ball falls on the edge of the box, goes through a crowd of players and gets a deflection. And it was only, I would suggest, inches wide of Somerville's right-hand post, and it was it could have gone anywhere, Mick.
I don't think he'd have got that. It came off
no,
the forward.
He was wrong-footed.
The forward touched it.
Very much wrong-footed.
And I don't think he'd have got to that when he watched it, but I think that could have been 1-1 if a little bit better touch on that. Fortunately, he didn't get one.
And at the moment, some of the other games going on in the division, it's Northwood 2, Royston 1, so that's a good game for Slough at the moment, with Slough winning here, and also it's only 1-1 in the other game with Kettering Marlow. So ball at the moment now with Harris in front of us immediately. Passes the ball back to Dyer. Dyer, a moment on it. Bad touch because of the pitch and gets the ball flicked off him, unfortunately. Apologises. And it's a throw-in that White will take immediately in front of us. Takes it quickly and the ball bobbles, beats Ellison. And now Rumbold. Looked like he was falling over, but strong run as ever. Bobbling forward and unfortunately shinned it through to the keeper. And the keeper quickly rolls it out to the right wing position. St Ives certainly a lot more urgency now as Hancock in front of the Slough dugout, approached by Short just holding his strength and muscle, and a great tackle by Rumbold, and that was a bit naughty by Hancock. He followed through there on Rumbold and he's injured himself, so that's all self-inflicted, but it looks like they're going to kick the ball out because I thought that was a bit unnecessary there from Hancock. It was a little bit naughty, and if he's hurt himself, he can only blame himself because he didn't need to put his foot in there.
Well, Lee Rumbold's
hobbling
just a little bit, but he's not called.
He's made a stern stuff, that Rumbold.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hancock's got no one to blame but from himself because Rumbold run the ball cleanly, and then I would say a good half a second later he was clattered by Hancock. The referee seemed to miss it or chose to not talk about it. And the Slough players are just having the opportunity to go and get some advice, get a drink on, going to talk to Unders and Bakes on the far side. Literally all the 11 outfield Slough players are over there with the exception of Somerville, who just seems to be trying to twist his neck off for some reason in his very dizzy boots that he's got out there, just doing a few stretching exercises. And similarly, St Ives, it's almost like a basketball timeout, it looks like. Hancock's back on his feet, he's being walked off, he's hobbling a little bit, but I don't think there's anything too wrong with him. And Slough now need to close out these final 7 or 8 minutes. It's still Slough Town 1, St Ives 0. Johnny Dyer, the goal scorer, after 70 minutes, with a great flick through and work from Ed Smith, and outside of the boot shot across the box, in off the far post, giving the keeper no chance at all. I don't think either keepers had a bad game, really, do you?
No, they haven't had a lot to do, to be fair. A couple of saves each, and that's been it.
So we're in the dying stages. The shade is getting longer and longer as Benyon in goal comes out of his box, rolls the ball long, and will now look to set St Ives on an attacking spree. Ball long, Simtin made a very strong debut, comes out and wins the ball, but no one's picking up that second ball. Ellison, the captain for St Ives, picks the ball up easily, and a long ball through there in the direction of the substitute Cobb, but it goes out harmlessly, and it'll be a Slough throw in far side, halfway in their own half, that Parsons will take. They're looking for a ball, I think, which again I don't think they're in a particular hurry to get back to them, and Parsons now has a ball at his feet, and we are the fans are certainly letting them know what they want from them. Again, the shed's gone a little bit quiet, but George Short there won a great free kick, got clobbered, and in front of the bench, and Super Kev's trying to get onto the pitch and see if Short needs attention, but Short's just bent over at the half, and you could hear that the Slough management team weren't very happy with that challenge there. He seemed to win the ball and then seemed to get knocked afterwards, but it looks like it's a throw into Egham on the halfway line. Sorry, Egham again. I've got to stop saying Egham. St Ives on the halfway line, on the far side. Thrown back to Lambert. Lambert inside his own half. Clears the ball, but Ed Smith shuts it down, and now he's going to be able to put Lambert under a little bit of pressure. Lambert rolls the ball across to Fordham. Fordham back to Lambert. Ed's doing doggies at the moment. And Lambert, a long oof ball forward towards the right side, but Parsons wise to it. George hooks it forward, and now Scott Harris on the ball. Scott Harris flicks it out right to Rumbold. Rumbold passes the ball through, but just gets cut out, but falls back to Scott Harris. 10 yards inside the St Ives half. Rumbold out to Fraser. Fraser onto Johnny Dyer down in front of us, 15 yards inside, right close to the touchline. Cuts inside. Similar position. Left-footed ball towards the far post. Harris underneath it. The flag was up though for offside, and Benyon will hurry to take this quick clearing. But good football there by Slough again.
That was another good move. Little flick from Dyer to cut inside there with the inside of his left foot. Wrong-footed defender, but he had quite a lot of room on this side as well. The defender didn't close him down to start with.
So it remains Slough Town 1, St Ives 0. We've got 4 minutes plus injury time here at Holloway's Park. Slough with a precarious 1-goal advantage, and a tackle comes in there from the substitute Cobb, which takes Rumbold to the floor. Again, Rumbold's been very strong throughout this game, been tenacious in that midfield, hasn't he, and really come into it in the second half.
Yes, he has. That was and Simpton again got involved. He's definitely my man of the match.
Who, Simpton?
Oh yeah.
He's looked very assured out there. He
has.
There's been some heart. I think Parsons has had a good game. Fraser has been very solid in there. And also Warren Harris has been effective as the ball comes forward from Woos into the box. Flicked on by Johnny Dyer, but harmlessly out for a goal kick. And we have 3 minutes plus injury time playing. It is Slough Town 1, St Ives 0. Can Slough hang on for the 3 points that they so desire and so need to maintain their playoff ambitions and hopes? St Ives will be hoping to spoil that ambition, and they'll need to really test Somerville. They've only tested him once in this whole game so far.
And the keeper didn't seem to be much of a hurry to take that one.
It's a little
strolled to take the strolled to take the goal kick, looked for the valve so he could put it on the outside like they normally do, and then wandered back and cleared it. I'd have been rushing if that'd have been me.
Northwood is still beating Royston 3-1, so that's a real positive result at the moment for Slough. Ball thrown up the line towards Scott Harris, but Scott Harris out muscled, but Rumbold picks up the second ball, and now Warren Harris heading towards the corner, tries to get tripped once, but just wins the throw on, and it will be a throw on to Slough immediately in front of us, which Johnny Dyer seems to be walking to, doesn't seem to be in any particularly hurry to take, and Simtim's making his way forward. At this stage, I'm not sure whether the management team will want him to, because St Ives are leaving players forward. Johnny Dyer thinks about taking the ball, but they're left 3-on-3 at the moment, so there needs to be one more player come back. There's 3-on-3, and there's certainly some communication going on, and Rumbold's now made his way back. Long throw comes in from Simtim, and George Short's awarded a free kick. Simtim, like the athlete he is, makes his way back quickly as pressure is now on the clock for St Ives if they want to hope to get anything out of this game. We have played 44 minutes here at Holloway's Park. It remains Slough Town 1, St Ives 0. A vital 3 points hopefully on its way to the Rebels today. Bennion clears the ball long. Fraser, strong header underneath it, and heads the ball out almost immediately in front of us, 5 yards inside the St Ives half on the left, and it looks like the Fordham, the giant, will take the throw on in front of us, and Woos is barking instructions and encouraging on the St Ives players, and once again Tim wins the ball, and the linesman's given the ball as out, although Scott Harris was trying his hardest to keep the ball in, and once again Fordham with a throws it inside to Cobb, and Shaw gets a challenge in, but Cobb gets a piece of the ball there, and it was just deflected out. George just feeling his foot slightly as he followed through there. Woo's doing up his boot. Johnny Dyer taking the moment to have a drink. It's all going on here. George still bent over. I think that hurt his foot as he clipped it through. And Simtin, 10 yards inside his own half, waiting for a ball to come down as we go into injury time here at Holloway's. Simtin, 20 yards inside his own half with the throw. Fans encouraging them to fight to the death. This hasn't been vintage Slough, but a win will be good enough. And Johnny Dyer now wins the flick, gets the ball to flick on, crosses the ball. It's a cross shot, and it's hit the bar. It was meant as a shot, but meant as a cross, but it kind of came off the outside of his boot and was going over. Think almost Seaman and Ronaldinho, that sort of effort, and it was going over it looked like it was dipping into the top corner, but it just clipped off the top of the bar. So Bennion quickly with the ball. We are still in injury time.
That came from a long throw,
and now Warren Harris has the opportunity to run through, flicks the ball through to Scott Harris, who uses his strength, but Ed Smith coming through, keeper goes down early, and the player manages to snuff enough of the ball that Ed Smith really should have scored and put the game to bed there, but unfortunately didn't quite get enough on it, and it's now again another throw to Slough.
He had an open goal there, did Ed, unfortunately.
And the keeper did very well to get back in there. But excellent work by the Harris brothers. Firstly, by Warren Harris making a strong run through. Scott Harris using his body strength to hold it off and create Ed the chance. And Ed just pulled the trigger but didn't quite get enough on it. There's 2 balls on the pitch. Johnny Dyer stood over 10 yards away from the corner flag with the ball in his hands. Simton's being kept at the back. And the ball's been now dispatched off at the right. St Ives now keen to get a move on. The referee signals that we can start play again. And Johnny Dyer got the ball, throws it infield to Ed Smith in the box. Ed Smith has a touch. Warren Harris falls in the box, just coming away from goal now. Crowded out. Fordham outright to Hancock. Hancock running the ball flare. They're trying to get forward quickly. They now want to make something to do. Ball up to Cobb. Cobb in the right wing channel for St Ives. Cross the ball, but cut out there well by a combination of Woos and Parsons, and now Scott Harrison has the ball on halfway, just inside the St Ives half. Passes a nice short ball through to Ed Smith, who's got plenty of space and time. He's knocked the ball well past Newman, and now he's going to be racing into the left-hand edge of the box. Takes it past the next player. Needs to try and cut back the cross. Cusses it back well, but it's only as far as White, and White clears it. Now Johnny Dyer does an amazing flick. Some Olay stuff there from Johnny Dyer as he flicks the ball back to Rumbold. Rumbold, centre of the St Ives half, on the left-hand side, tries to thread a ball through to Parsons, bit of over-elaboration, but now trying to crowd Ellison out of the ball. And ball given away by the St Ives player. Now Parsons on the left-hand side clips the ball down to the corner that Rumbold's chasing all day long, but it's harmlessly out for a goal kick. We have played 3 minutes of injury time here, and the Rebels are wanting and urging the referee, Mr Bailey. All eyes are on him to see when he's going to blow his whistle and end this. Slough leading 1-0. Johnny Dyer's goal after 70 minutes, the only difference between these two teams. Mick, you're very quiet.
It's too tense at the moment, but we still got
it's not a circus, Mick. It's not too tense.
Oh, sorry.
As the ball's played through to Scott Harris, again using his strength up against Newman in the far corner. He's an extremely strong player. I wouldn't want to meet him down a dark alley. Both Harrises are over in the far corner. They're having a party. There's one of them's on their bum. There's all sorts of fighting going on, and in the end, it's a free kick to St Ives, but they've wasted some valuable time there.
That was good play from Slough.
That was a hatchet job by the 2 Harris brothers. The ball. Now, free header from Rumbold, 10 yards inside his own half. And there's a high foot there that nearly took off little Warren Harris's head. So it'll be a free kick to Slough, 20 yards. And I think, as far as I'm concerned, that should be that. After this free kick, it should be that. short free kick
Get
taken
into
to
the
Warren Harris.
corner.
Warren Harris heading off towards the left-hand corner. Again, other Harris, and that is it. That is it. We're final result here. Slough Town 1, St Ives Town 0. So a vital 3 points there for the Rebels, and the Rebels will be happy with their afternoon work. So that is a brilliant result in what wasn't a vintage performance. Full time at Marlow is that it was 1-1. So Kettering have dropped points. So we've clawed back 2 points on Kettering, which is a really interesting. And Uxbridge have won 5-0 at Chertsey. Good game there. It's interesting. What we want to see is what the Barton score is and what the Dunstable rugby score is. Northwood are still beating Royston 3-1, so that's the last update we've had from them. So the Slough players are just all shaking hands with the referees, starting to make their way off the tips. The two keepers combined. Mick, what did you make of the match?
Well, there was nothing for 70 minutes at all. It was very, very poor, very scrappy, and then we got the goal, and the goal livened things up, certainly from Slough's point of view. St Ives, to me, didn't look as though they wanted to even come back and get a draw, to be honest. They made very little effort up front. And we could have had 2 or else 3 goals there. So excellent in the end, and it's 3 points. Sometimes you win ugly. Today was ugly, but we got the 3 points.
As all the little mascots are now making their way off with their Slough Town scarves, well, 4 of them will have enjoyed their day. 2 of them maybe not quite as much. As Simtin is voted by the sponsors man of the match as well, just has his photo taken off the pitch. He's made a big impression, and it would be good if we could perhaps keep him for another game or 2.
Yes, I wouldn't mind seeing him next week at Daventry. He did have a very, very good game. He was very, very solid. He hardly put a foot wrong, but he has come from a division down, and he looked at ease with us, to be honest. That's a very, very good signing from Bakes and Unders.
Another result just come in: Aylesbury United 0, Egham 0. So some of these other results going in. So Aylesbury again have dropped points in this pursuit. So Slough still will stay in third this evening, but may shut the gap down to Dunstable, depending on what's happened at rugby, down to 3 points. So we're just waiting that. If anyone knows what that score is, please let us know, as the players are all making their way off the pitch. St Ives are just all still out there, just having a little bit of a stretch. The managers out there, the joint managers, just having a little word with them. I don't think they can be disappointed with how they played for the majority for the 70 minutes. I just think, unfortunately, they came here with a game plan, and once the goal was scored, they didn't really have much option or any opportunity to do much.
They didn't have a plan B. That was it. Plan A was to keep us out, put 5 at the back, and hopefully break away and score. And unfortunately, when we got a goal, they couldn't respond. And that last 20 minutes, that was a Slough that I'm used to hearing, certainly, from you, John, and from reading reports. That's the Slough that's a decent side, and we proved it in the last 20 minutes.
And so yes, as the patrons just file their way out, the cameraman's tidying his bits away and pieces like that. I think, unless you've got anything more to add, Mick, I think we'll probably say goodbye. Let people get on with their days wherever you've been. Thank you for tuning in. Apologies for the initial confusion and the repeated Rebels radio for the first 5 minutes. You didn't miss anything, apart from Mick just telling you all his deepest, darkest secrets, which, to be honest, weren't that interesting.
Yeah, thanks for that, John. Your secrets are very interesting. I shall be on the chat room later and let everybody know about them. So thank you very much, and I shall see you next Saturday
at Daventry. All being well, if we can broadcast from there. I don't see any reason why we can't. So yes, if you want to join us next Saturday, we'll hopefully have some interviews again during the week, so that to update you on what's happening. But good luck, and thank you very much for tuning in. Come on, you Rebels, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Goodbye.